Hello, my fellow vigilantes. I had to do something different. I had to give you guys a bundle review because I have a few projects, upcoming projects that I want to start working on, such as I want to work on a season 1 Wu-Tang American Saga. I want to review that. I also want to review You, and I want to get to all those reviews before we get to December and before we get to Thanksgiving. Parasite is a new movie directed by Bong Joon-woo, and also he was the director of Snowpiercer. Parasite tells the story of an unfortunate family that has an interest in this very wealthy family. Everyone in this family is unemployed. The unfortunate family was able to scam the wealthy family to get into some positions such as a tutor, a driver, and a housemaid. And during the entire time, the wealthy family has no idea that this family is scamming them. But then something unexpected happens and all of their lives is changed forever. And we have the movie Parasite. This movie was pretty good, and one thing that surprised me was this movie was funny. I wasn't expecting this movie to be as funny as it was. And also the humor worked best because the humor is relatable to their situation. Like, there's this unfortunate family that lives like in the outskirts of town. They live like below, and the film does a good job of developing each of their character arcs through the visuals, such as when it rains, the unfortunate family hates it because the water fills up their house and they have to use buckets to get the water out. But for this wealthy family, when it rains, they enjoy it and they think it's like one of the best things of nature. I like how the film gives you a perspective of how each character feels and how they perceive life. And also this film has a message revolving around class discrimination. In this film, you get an understanding of this unfortunate family that they're not imbeciles, they're actually smart, and what they're doing is wrong, but later on in the film, you understand why this family is scamming this wealthy family. And then later on in the film switched its tone to more of a dark and serious tone. And I wasn't expecting it. And it almost reminded me of a horror film, like a condensed claustrophobia horror film. And that's the best way I can describe it during the second act, because huge switch in tone where there's this discovery where one of the characters made in the basement of the wealthy family's home. And then things just completely change. And I just like the cinematography and how the director was able to use the visuals to convey the character's emotion without the characters actually saying on camera of how they're feeling with words. Tremendous performances throughout. It's definitely one of the best movies I've seen this year. It has a strong message revolving around class discrimination. So I recommend you check out this film. This is a really good film. So I'm going to give Parasite a Batman-tastic, really good movie. I really enjoyed it. Ford v Ferrari is a new movie directed by James Mangold. He directed Logan. Great director. Garrett Green also is a great movie. And this movie stars Matt Damon, Christian Bale. Josh Lucas makes an appearance in this movie. Wow, it has been a long time since I've seen him. And also it has John Bernthal, the Punisher himself. And Ford v Ferrari tells the story of car designer Carroll Shelby and Ken Miles. They must put their minds together to build the perfect car for Ford to compete against Ferrari at the 24-hour Le Mans of 1966. And we have the movie Ford v Ferrari. This movie was directed spectacularly. The racing sequences was intense. The director used lots of wide shots so you can see like all the cars that is racing against one another. And there wasn't a moment where I was confused, or wasn't a moment where I was trying to question the director's style or anything. I was just mesmerized of how the intensity racing sequences were, and I was at the edge of my seat. I was not expecting the intensity of the race sequences to be that intensified in this movie. I also want to talk about the performances from Matt Damon and Ken Miles, who's being played by Christian Bale, and Carroll Shelby is being played by Matt Damon. Both of them characters were spectacular. Their performances were great, but one of the things about this works best for this movie was its characters. The characters revolving around Carroll Shelby and Ken Miles. The chemistry is just golden. It shows on screen. And also the film has some sad moments in this movie. Like, yes, I feel like the movie was a little bit crowd pleasing in some of its moments, but the film didn't shy away from the sad moments. There are some scenes where I was emotionally connected with few characters, and because the film did a really good job of fleshing out Ken Miles' character. And I also love the father and son dynamic revolving around Ken Miles and his son. And I never heard of the Ken Miles, the racer, before, but I feel like I should have heard of him before. I was mesmerized from the performances of Christian Bale, and I was automatically into the performances and into the characters. The character did a good job. The film did a really good job of having you get into the story and into the characters. Now, the film is called Ford v Ferrari, and you might think that it's about the company Ford versus the company Ferrari. Yes and no. I mean, the movie is basically about two guys that's building a car that's competing against Ferrari. But while they're making these cars, the executives of Ford, we see them put pressure on Shelby and put pressure on Ken Miles about this and that, about the rules of marketing and how they should market one's company and why this person, Ken Miles, can't be a face of a company. There's lots of scenes, for that matter, where they deal with executives and marketers and that nature. But the movie does have some racing sequences, but the film focuses more on this of breaking down their characters, especially Ken Miles' characters. Now, there is a flaw I have with this film. Like, there is a lot of characterization done to Ken Miles and his family, but there wasn't a lot of characterization for Carroll Shelby. He's being played by Matt Damon. Yes, Matt Damon's character has lots of screen time in this movie, but there wasn't characterization. There wasn't a few moments in this movie, because this movie was like 1 hour and 53 minutes, so they could have had time to flesh out his character. There wasn't a moment where we got an in-depth look inside his life. We don't know what he do. We don't know what his favorite foods are, what he eats, or if he even has a family. This movie is spectacular. Has some great sequences, racing sequences at that. Phenomenal performances of Christian Bale. He was able to disappear into the role even after playing Batman. He is a great actor, astonishing actor. He knows how to blend into the role and just disappear completely. Like, he was invisible. So yes, Ford v Ferrari is a movie I recommend you go check out in theaters. And so yes, I'm going to give Ford v Ferrari a fantastic. This was a fantastic movie, and I will buy this movie on Blu-ray, and you should too. Alright guys, that's my bundle review of Ford v Ferrari and Parasite. Have you seen both of those movies? What are your thoughts? Comment below and let's talk about it, and I'll see you guys in the next review. And if you like everything you see and you agree, subscribe to my channel and join me in the Batman family. I'll have more Batman-tastic reviews in the way. I'll have a review of Knives Out, and also I'll have a review of Frozen 2 and 21 Bridges coming this weekend. And I also have a music video dropping in between those dates, probably Friday, so stay tuned for that. I'm doing a collaboration with a fellow YouTuber friend of mine, Superfan K. Can't wait for that, so stay tuned for that music video. You have been warned. Till then, ciao.